Parents, be careful of what you do in front of your children. It's very, very important for us to be careful what we do in front of our children. I'm going to start this by telling us a little story of what happened when I traveled to Lagos. I went to Lagos and I saw in the place I went to is kind of that was many years ago, a kind of public compound. I went to visit someone. So when I got there, I met a young girl of 4. So I was seated outside. She always come around. All of us, we sit together and, have fresh air, play. I buy them things. At a point, I was alone. This girl walked up to me 4 years, many years ago. She was standing in front of me. I was like, hey, hi, how are you? Are you okay? How is mommy? Like normal you would do. So it happened that, she walked close to me. I was wearing shorts. She held my clothes and was about lifting it up. I held her hand immediately and stopped her. I got thinking, what could have happened? What could this be? How come? Because I knew what she was about to do. I told myself that I must find out who taught this girl this. I started making investigation. I called some young boys. I started asking questions. So I got to discover that it was not actually from the parents. It was actually from the sisters that has come of age. When the mothers are not around, some guys come into the house looking for them, and they do some things that are not supposed to be done in front of those kids. Imagine a young girl of 4 years, and this thing has been registered in her brain. Do you understand? It has been registered in her brain. That's why, and she has no fear. She doesn't even know if she was doing the right thing or the wrong thing. She came straight to me, who held my boxers to lift it up. Imagine that, from 4 years. So my heart bleeded. I was so annoyed. I was not happy with those elderly ones, the sisters or the neighbors. Okay. So I want us to be very careful what we do in front of our children. I have a lot of points to raise here. Some people are living in one-room apartment and they do a lot of things in front of their children, changing clothes, taking your children into the bedroom to take bath with you. As long, you tell me they don't know anything. They are 2, 3, 4 years. I'm talking about that range. We need to be very, very careful what we do before them, okay? You have maid in your house and maid is messing up. Do you know that sometimes it's not actually the fault of the maid, because you as a parent, you are doing those things in front of your maid, and your maid has no way to express it because they are children, they are child. Some maids are just too young, okay? They are children and they have no place to express this, and they turn to your children to express it. You do it and your children are seeing it. Sometimes it might actually be your children that teach the maid what they are doing. You don't know. You've taught your children unknowingly to you. Maybe you have one room, and having one room is not an excuse. You need to be calculative. You need to know what you're doing in front of your children, okay? And your children will copy these things, not knowing where to express it. They express it in school. You start getting some certain results in school, and you blame school teachers and all that, and you see your children with your maid, and you blame your maid. Your maid are the ones corrupting your children, but it actually started from you. We need to know what we are doing in front of our children. It's kissing, romancing, a lot of things. The way you sit in front of your children, it matters. You as a young mother, you wear a bomb shot and all that, and the male servants are walking around and they are copying these things, and you have a younger daughter around. You need to be careful, okay? These are the things we need to be careful. We need to be really, really careful, okay? The way you put on your things, you don't care, and your sister visit the way she's doing around the house. These are the things you need to watch, and your children are watching. They don't know this is my sister, this is my blood. They don't know. They are watching. You need to be very careful. You send your children on vacation to visit your sister. You need to know how they are staying there. It's very, very important, okay? Where your children goes is very important. Where they go and where they're not going, you need to know. It's very, very important, okay? They are children, and whatever that has registered into their brain, it takes time to go. It's always difficult to go. Like an adult, when something comes to you, if you want, you accommodate it. If you don't want, you let go of that, okay? But children, they have no choice than to receive it. They have no choice than to start practicing it. And they do it in open, just like that little girl that came to me, of 4 years that came to me. She didn't know what she was doing. I was not angry with her, but I tried to look out to know who. You know, this has happened twice where we went to shoot a video some other time. It was a younger boy. We were making videos and they were beating somebody at the backyard. I was like, who is beating this child? When I got the stories were told, it was a younger guy with a younger girl. In fact, the girl was older. So when they were beating them, I said, stop beating these kids. They didn't grow. The mother did not give birth to them with this in their brain. How did they get to copy this? I tried to find out and I discovered that, man, it's a long story. On that one is a long story because the mother is something else, okay? And the children were copying. And when they practice what you've taught them unknowingly to you, and you start beating them, okay? So this is something we need to be very careful. Know what we are doing in front of our children.